Imagine a world where every house tells a unique story, where the walls whisper tales of passion and creativity. In this world, Stefani Thatcher stands as a guiding force, bringing dreams to life, one blueprint at a time. From the early days of sketching floor plans to donning her own tool belt, Stefani's journey in the world of construction has been nothing short of extraordinary. With a bachelor's degree in interior design and architecture from Utah State University, Stefani has spent nearly 25 years designing stunning homes, earning her multiple parade of home awards and the prestigious Soft Plan Social Media Award in 2018. Through her online residential design course, Square Foot Superhero, Stefani is bridging the education gap for aspiring residential designers, igniting a passion for storytelling throughout architecture. She's a sought-after speaker at the International Builders Show, sharing her profound belief in crafting homes that speak to the essence of their owners. Join us as we unravel Stefani's extraordinary journey, exploring the intersections of art and construction, and discovering the secrets to thrive in an ever-evolving industry. So grab your hard hat and get ready to be inspired as we welcome the incredible Stefani Thatcher to Thriving in Construction, the podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am so happy here to meet Stefani Thatcher. How do you, Thatcher?
Yep.
Like Margaret Thatcher?
Yes, exactly.
You are a strong woman with a big, huge, loving heart. I know that.
Thank you. I'll take
I'm
that.
sure. I'm sure you are. I strongly, as Margaret Thatcher. You know, some people have also paired me like with Margaret Thatcher, and
Yes.
typically people do that because we're in a male-dominated industry.
Yes.
So they see you as a we're very strong, but we have something beautiful. We women know how to combine very elegantly the masculine energy that you need to thrive in business, but we also have our feminine energy, divine goddess energy and also use it in business too. So we have so many different roles. We're mothers, and I see your family that I can't see the faces, but I know they're beautiful. You have 4 kids and your beautiful husband, and I know for a fact, because I have 5 myself, that balancing you want to be great at everything, right? All the buckets in the business, as a family, as a mother, as a friend, as a daughter, as a wife, and in the passion part of the relationship too. So I'm so happy that you're here. Really, really grateful to God for our encounter. And I cannot wait to learn more about you and share your wealth of knowledge with the world.
Thank you so much for having me. I totally love having these conversations with people, and I know it's going to be a thrill.
Yes. So tell me, how do you become an architect? How do you get into this industry?
Okay, well, this is a loaded question. Do you want the long answer or the short
It's
answer?
important. Well, you can be as give us as much detail as you think is necessary, so people can relate to you when they are your back when you started 25 years ago, when they're your age, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and how do you make this decision? What was happening in your life?
Yeah, well, okay, so we can go back, 40 years, 45 years, I don't know, something like that. We won't give away how old we are, right? But I just remember my dad actually lost his job. I feel like it must have been during the just start of the recession. It was in 82, lost his job. we actually lived in upstate New York, moved back to his hometown, lived with grandma and grandpa for a minute while he built our family home by himself, from scratch. He had studied drafting technology in college and always had beautiful penmanship. I loved it. I always admired his penmanship. Anyway, so I just kind of watched this process take shape and I was fascinated. That must have been the way that I became so passionate and so fascinated by the whole world of architecture and construction. So I took the classes, went the route, ended up getting my degree. Actually, I studied architecture and interior design. So it kind of, I was telling you earlier, it went full circle. I knew I loved residential floor plan homes and stuff because that's what I saw and that's what I would always sketch and different things. But I have found since then that most traditional university, college, any sort of educational paths will take you, whether it's interior design or architecture or whatever, they will teach you a lot, but I feel like they kind of take you and steer you towards commercial work. And I didn't feel like that was the right fit for me. I didn't feel like that was the right place for me. It wasn't really where my passions were. It was interesting and I enjoyed, being in that world a little bit, but I was super happy to come back into the residential world. I had a neighbor, a friend who owned a construction company, and he actually used the same software that my general contractor father-in-law had introduced me to. So it was a CAD program. It was a great program. I still use it to this day.
Really?
And yeah, I mean,
What's the name?
why learn something new when you're really good at that one? It's called SoftPlan. So there's SoftPlan, Chief Architect, Revit, ArchiCAD. I feel like those are kind of the top tier ones. It's a BIM program. I can do 3D modeling and VR walkthroughs with my clients. I can do takeoffs. It's got all the bells and whistles. Anyway, so he was using the same program. He invited me to come work with him and I loved it. I worked there for over 10 years. And that's where I feel like a lot of my education came from. I had built my home with my husband together. So I was able to do like practical application, transition the book knowledge that I had all the, like in theory, this is what you do. And it was real life application at that point. And then working, I had estimators and purchasers and salespeople and superintendents and framers and all the trades at my disposal to call and ask questions and learn from. And I got to see the actual projects from start to finish. I didn't have to wonder if they would actually be built because I worked for a builder. It was awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah, so
great experience because you learn from many times designers don't have the opportunity to see the practical as you go, and they actually take a detail kind of the way it's in the book, but it doesn't work. Sometimes
it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah,
I had an experience once working at the builders where we were trying to figure out how to build a wall. I'm sure it was just some sort of framed wall between the garage and the house, and we had the estimator there and the superintendent and the framer and the two owners who were both builders themselves originally, general contractors. And they all had a different method, a different way of doing it. And every single way would have worked fine and passed code and been structurally sound and everything. And at that moment, it was like, oh, there's a lot of ways. So,
it's called back to, so we can integrate our listeners. It's called for us means and methods. So there is many ways to skin a cat.
There are many ways to skin a cat.
There are many ways, and there are many ways to really build something.
Yeah.
And so they actually allow the general contractor they define the guardrails, right? The specs, the drawings. You have the building inspectors, but you have ways to get to Rome. We have different paths to get there.
Right. Yep. All roads lead to Rome, right? Yeah. So for me, coming to, this world of architecture, I'm not a licensed architect. And for a lot of years, that felt like almost shameful. It felt like embarrassing, or I didn't want to admit it or whatever. It's just like, oh, you're a lesser class citizen, so to speak, because, being a licensed architect seems to be like the end all be all and the goal for everybody. But I realized that in the residential construction industry, most homes are designed by non-architects. Most architects won't do the residential projects because they can make better money in the commercial world. I assume this is my interpretation. So let's just put that out there. This is my interpretation. This is the experience that I've had. And so I don't need to be licensed, but I am highly skilled and highly qualified. And not everybody who is in this profession either as a residential designer, not all of them have even taken the route I've taken through college and stuff. So when we talk about my younger version and somebody who wants to come into this industry, there is no one clear path to become a residential designer. To become an architect, a licensed architect, that path is a lot more clearly defined. You go to school, you go to college. Most of the time it's a master's degree, and you work under a licensed architect for so many years. You have to pass, exams and have so many hours of practical experience, and then you become licensed.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different as a residential designer, and everybody just needs to check with their local governing agency in the state of Utah. I can design homes and even duplexes and light commercial up to a certain size with no problem without being licensed. So I do.
So I love your journey seems to me very similar in many regards than mine, because of the, not necessarily on the professional side, the niches that we have, but in the journey. I love the fact that you've created a course to guide people on avoid mistakes, have a clear path to be where you are. And I actually like the combination that you have had experience working with a builder for a long time, which makes you very practical, right? And the courses nowadays are you want them to be practical. You want to teach something that it's a practical application to kind of shorten the path for somebody
Yes.
else. And you also, so you have so clear in the impact that you want to give to the world, but also the fact that the journey that life took you, because you're also a mother. I mean, all of the things that you do, all of the buckets, and you're trying to make it easy for somebody so that they can actually enjoy their lives even more, right?
Right.
Is
Yeah.
that, am I like hallucinating, or am I on the?
No, you are spot on. That is exactly what it is. Because yeah, I'm not going to, like whine and complain and say that my journey was hard. It just took a while. Right. And part of that was me figuring out myself and stuff. But there are other people who know exactly where they want to be, and they want to get there much faster. And so I take those years, my nearly 25 years of designing custom homes, and have, especially once I started my own business, and now all of a sudden I was able to implement the practices and the policies and the systems and stuff the way that I felt compelled to. And I found that I was saying the same things over and over to clients. So it was on repeat. And all of a sudden it started to click in my head. I thought, this is a problem that can be solved, or this is a journey that can be shortened. This is an experience that can be better for the clients, for the homeowners, for the builder. So my whole, one of my taglines is, we want to create floor plans that are builder friendly, they're engineer friendly, and they're still aesthetically pleasing. They're still beautiful to look at. They don't break the bank. We're very mindful of the client's budget. I don't design to one particular style only. We extract the client's story. And so because we're not going to just come in and just do whatever the client asks us to do, right? Because sometimes they don't know that there could be a better way. And so we're going to help them find that better way. And that's what I want my students to be able to walk away with is, how can you be that expert for that homeowner and be an advocate? Because we're kind of like that middle ground. We're the first people that homeowners work with, essentially. And so we have to be their front line of defense to set them up for success, and also be very mindful of the people coming behind us who are going to be working off of our floor plans. We don't want to send out crap and have them fix all of our problems on site.
Yeah.
And my general
Yeah.
contractor father-in-law, when I explained that to him, he was so bewildered. It was so adorable because that's what he was used to. He just fixed the
Yeah, no,
problems.
a lot of times, and you know, a lot of the burden of proof is in the general contractor, because the client doesn't know, the
Nope.
home owner, they don't know when there is a situation that causes an increase of cost. They don't know what caused it,
Right.
and they right away they think it's just the general contractor's fault. And when there's a time delay, the same thing. So I'm
Right.
totally, I believe me, this is my world. So
Yes.
I
Well, that's the
totally,
thing. I want my work to make your work easier and
yeah.
better. So you win and the homeowners win, right? That's what
And
I'm
you
always
win
looking
too,
for.
because
Yeah,
if the project, if the drawings, if the quality of the drawings is great, and you don't have to be called to answer questions. So
hardly
everyone
ever
wins.
get called. Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, I beg, I'm like, please call me. Call
Let me
me
know
and
how it's
ask me
doing.
questions. Yes. What can I do to make it easier or better for you?
It's so funny that we have so much in common, because my thing was, after going through what everything I went through and seeing that so much suffering in our industry, I am like, how can I make it easier? You know, the quality of your questions really reflect the type of life that you have. And how do I make it easier? So my brain has been finding ways. And I also, I'm about to launch a course to
I know,
help
that's so
people,
exciting.
yeah, avoid the mistakes that I have made in this journey and shorten that gap. But tell me about your course. How do you get there? How do you, because I know it's not easy, because I've been trying to do it myself. And you know, I first started to do trainings internally in my own company for, you know, making it easy, and like an academy type of, you know, we have courses that we have been training people with, but
Sure.
also how do I do it for an entrepreneur just like me when I started? And so I know it's not an easy process. How do you go about it? How do you do it? And I know you have a company and you have kids and all of that. So, but you
Yeah,
still have
it's a
a
good
passion.
question. Yeah.
How do you do
Yeah.
it?
Well, the first thing is you start paying attention to where are the problems. I don't look at problems as a setback or a discouragement or, like, oh, I'm terrible person, or
It's
I'm terrible at my
opportunity, right?
job. Yeah, like I look at them as opportunities for improvement. So I want to hear. In fact, I just had a client this morning give me feedback and it was like, yes, that, I mean, even though somebody could interpret that as like a dig or a cut on the work that I did, I was like, no, this is perfect because this matters to you in this way. And so I always look at learning as an opportunity or as feedback and problems as an opportunity to learn. So anytime
Yeah.
there's a situation that comes up, I take note. And I use that as like, okay, these are the recurring problems that I see, that I experience, that these are the recurring questions that I have to answer. So how can I shorten that timeline? How can I get people to the solution faster? And so that's where that's kind of what
The mindset
uh
that you have had.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what really dictated the content of the course. So I'm not teaching how to put together a set of floor plans because that can be taught anywhere. That's just very, like check the box. We're teaching a system, a process to how to make it a better experience for the clients.
Yeah, like a framework. I love that.
Mhm.
And who have been the mentors that you have had that have guided you to do a course and to launch it and
Mhm.
all this marketing? Because you know that's the other part. You're a good architect. You know how to do this, but you know now it's marketing, launching, and beta testing, and all this
Yeah.
recording, and not being afraid of the camera and so on.
Yeah. Yes,
I've been
all
there.
those
I've been there
things.
myself.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, it started from the very second I quit working for somebody else. the thing that kept me working for somebody else was I was afraid that I would lose touch with the growth opportunities that I had at my previous place of employment. And I was just, I knew I'd be on my own because I just work from home and work remotely with all the people. And so the second I started my own business, I started listening to TED Talks and podcasts and reading books. So some of the early ones that I listened to, Simon Sinek was first, like so good. Really influenced a lot of my thinking. He actually aligned with the thoughts that I have. So it was good that he put words into my thoughts. Russell Brunson was a great one. Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins. I'm looking at my bookshelf.
Amy Porterfield.
Amy Porterfield was awesome. It took me a minute to get to her. I had heard about her for a while, but she is really fantastic. I had to get to her by basically like working on myself first. But Amy Porterfield was awesome as far as like getting me through course creation. I had also Grace Lever was another one. Ali Bjork had helped me.
I love the fact that you love to grow and you love to have mentors. It's so important to have a guy.
I'm kind of a junkie.
Yeah, me too. And I buy courses and then I haven't used them, but one day I get to them, and the right timing is always good. I love how much I also have Amy's course. So
I love having like fellow students of the same like online mentor.
Yeah, I might get you as my accountability partner.
I would love that. Let's do it. Yes.
Yeah. I definitely will keep in touch. So when you are, what are the three most important focus that you want your students to have when they are initiating in this career, in this process, for them to be successful? What are the three buckets that you think they need to focus on?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Okay, so systems is a really big one. Have a system and have a process. Know what I'm probably going to end up with more buckets than three, but I'll try to keep it to three. So systems and processes.
Tony Robbins, I'm big on Tony. Tony says it's three too many. So, but I get it. I think processes, you're like right on the money, especially after you make all the mistakes that you could possibly make. You're like, now, oh my gosh, I'm going to fix this. But now I'm going to do it thinking someone else that doesn't know what I know is going to do it. So you're on the money.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Well, the more systems you have set up in the beginning, the better experience your clients have, right? Like, how can you take clients on a journey through design and have it be completely chaotic? They don't know what to expect. They don't know when they're going to hear from you. They don't know how they're going to communicate with you. Like, it's too chaotic. So if you don't have systems and a process set up, you will not get repeat business. Repeat business is hard in our industry, specifically mine, because not many people build more than one home. So, but they tell people, right? They talk. And so I have my marketing is almost 100% organic. It's all word of mouth from the builders, from my previous clients or whatever. If I didn't have a good system in place and a good experience with my clients, then I wouldn't be getting that kind of word of mouth. So in addition to that, it's good communication. So I feel like that's all kind of lumped together. I think another bucket would be ethics and core values. You don't have to have them all spelled out on your website for people to read, but people are able to extract what your values and your ethics are on a personal level and in a business sense, just in the way that you interact with them and the way that you conduct your business. And for example, I'll give you a quick case study. So for example, when I tell clients that I'm sorry, I don't have any room in my calendar right now to squeeze you in, so this is a new inquiry coming in. And I say, I'm sorry, I don't have room. I can start on your project in 3 months or, next year, whatever it is. And it hurts to say that because I don't like to not help people. But at the same time, me saying, and I'll tell people, I'll say, my current clients are my top priority. And that's why I don't have room. Because if I squeeze you in, now I'm impacting their job. And that's not fair to them because, they might have had to wait or whatever. I've given them my attention at this moment. So that demonstrates, hopefully, to a smart person that they'll be able to like translate that into, oh, so when I'm Stephanie's current client, I can have full confidence that she's going to not jeopardize my project for the sake of another one. That's an emergency or whatever. So that's just one example. There's a
Well,
lot
I
of
think
different core
I want to
values and
touch on
stuff.
that. I want to touch on that because if a business owner thinks about what would happen to your business if every client that gave you an opportunity that you had is still with you, instead of we typically want to chase more clients, and
Right.
it's like the survival brain forgets about what we have. We need to be grateful for, right, to be present. And then you're chasing after what you don't have, so the new client. And then what happens is you don't have the systems, you don't have the culture, you don't have the team to the capacity to expand. Your focus is on another client, and the current client that you have loses, you lose focus
Yeah.
and the
Oh,
quality of the
totally.
work you had. So what you said, it's very, very true. So I love what and
Yeah.
that's integrity.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, I mean, in part of our pre-conversation, we talked about, giving out good into the world. And when we are open to that giving, service-minded, work culture, work lifestyle, whatever, it comes back. It really does. And we don't do it with that selfish intent though, because that kind of defeats that purpose. We have to have that true heart of service going into it where we truly want to help people. So that actually would be my third bucket if I were to have one. It's just like every single job that I take on, I feel so deeply connected to my clients because I'm getting really familiar with them on a very deep and personal level. And I want their success as much as they do. And I think that they can feel that energy from me. And it really binds us together. And we become, like partners together in this creation. I become a part of their story. I don't take that lightly. Like that's a real privilege that they have opened up their heart, their home, their lives, their deepest personal, goals and expectations with me. And they've trusted me with that. And so that's something that I think that I know not everybody would agree with me on that because it's just a job,
No, I
that pays
think
the bills.
no, I believe more people, especially people with experience. It's all about the experience, the client journey, less about the skills. The skills are important. You want to do quality, you want to know what you're doing, but you could have the skills and the knowledge, and the client and you can have a nightmare. It can be a
Yes.
nightmare.
Yes. Yes.
That could actually end in a lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. And
and
that's at worst. And at best, it could end in just that you part ways on, like with bad feelings towards each other. You
yeah,
know what I
no,
mean? Or it was a bad
and
experience for them.
or bad energy, and especially in a home. I think energy is so huge.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
It's the invisible force that nobody wants to recognize, but it's
yeah,
there.
it's there, and it can feel positive or negative.
Mhm.
So I totally align with you, and I am also very present to the fact that there's a number of people that have to collaborate on a home or any construction project. It's not only the person that designs it, it's not only the owner of the project. There's so many have to put their energies into this project. And I think, and we spend also a lot of a huge part of our time And I am a firm believer that I want to have fun when I'm working.
Yes.
Fun has to be part of it, because
Yes.
it's stressful enough as it is, that
Right.
and you can have fun with people that you align with,
Yeah.
that you can trust, people that have the align with the outcome, they have the client as the main outcome, and you're dealing with people, people that have issues, they have emergencies, they have feelings.
Hmm.
And I am more, look, the way I deal every day, I recognize that yes, we're doing business, but we're doing business with people. And the story that I learned in this country when I came here, oh, you live your personal life at home, to me that's BS. It's totally not even possible. There's no way.
Well, that makes us two different people entirely. And I
Yeah.
want to bring my whole self to to everything that I do, whether it's wife, mother, or designer. Like I want people to have access to my full capabilities. And I love how you touched on, like, these are people that we're dealing with. And so that human connection, really understanding people and how they work, how, like, what makes them tick, and even to see the dynamics when we're talking about, homes, we have to see the dynamic between these partners that are going to share this space. And then, like, even extend it to, are there children that are going to be living there as well? And we really have to take in that human factor into the whole equation, and make it be a part of the conversation. So that's why I love to really, some of the books that I've read that I feel like have been as powerful for me as like my drafting and design books have been books on understanding people's different personalities and how they work. So like the color code, and um 6 types of working genius. Like there's so many books out there that we can learn about how people work, the different personalities, how they interact with each other. And the more we understand that about people, the
It's
better we can,
powerful.
like, the better relationship
Powerful.
we can have with them.
It's powerful. And not only your clients, your students, but also, your own kids,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
families, and
Mm-hmm.
the work we do on ourselves. It's very
Mm-hmm.
powerful to help us influence people around us. I
Mm-hmm.
have learned a lot from Tony Robbins too, and obviously from my own experience in my own process of growth. I have learned a lot through meditation, because you get a lot of insights when you meditate. But Tony
Yeah.
talks about the 6 human needs, and that we all have, and our values. We all value different things. We all have different focuses, and
Uh-huh.
based on our values is how we make decisions. So it's so powerful when we can identify that in other people. It just helps us so much to understand, because not
Yeah.
everybody's going to be like us.
No, yeah, we definitely, and so we have to understand, like, for me to design a home that's a 15,000 square foot home that has an indoor gym and an indoor bowling alley and maybe an indoor pool, like, I can't relate to that. But at some point, I have to learn how to internalize that and how to find the value in that for somebody else. That's why it's so important for me to know the story behind the design. And same thing, on the flip side, if I can understand why somebody would want to live in a tiny home, then I can be as passionate about designing that tiny home for that person, and be as thrilled about designing the tiny home as I am about designing the giant mansion,
Of course, of
because
course.
I know that it's fulfilling a core value for them. It's fulfilling a goal, a need for them, and it will help them live their best life according to them,
Yeah, I
not
love
according to me.
I love this time that we have spent together. I wish we can continue to talk, but I think we can have another episode. I definitely want to connect more with you. I love your heart. I feel we're so aligned.
We are
And
like soul sisters, aren't we?
yeah, I think so. It's funny how we're all one, right? We're all connected.
Hmm.
and somebody from Dominican Republic like me can be connected with somebody from the Midwest the way
I
we are. There's
love
so
it.
much alignment. And I definitely, I'm going to take you, you're my accountability partner. I will, I want to stay connected. I, I really celebrate where you are. I love how
Thank
you
you.
lead with heart, and I can see it in your energy. It's so beautiful to watch. So I know you're going to be extremely successful in this journey because the heart never fails.
Thank you so much. So I feel all those same things. And yes, I definitely want to stay connected. And we need to cheer each other on, right?
Yes, yes,
In
yes,
all of our endeavors and the personal journey. So I'm
yes.
here for you.
I love who we are becoming, and in the next 10 years, we're going to look back at this moment and say, "You remember when we were talking about this?"
We're gonna have a reunion episode.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your life and your mission and your passion. And I hope our listeners got value out of this.
I hope so
We're
too. This has been a pleasure.